Hello and welcome to Clay Jarvis Guitar. Hope everybody's doing well on this Sunday afternoon. In this live stream, I want to talk to you about improvising, and I'll be improvising over an Eric Clapton style guitar backing track. And I will definitely go over the chords and break down the chords and chord progressions for you and things like that. I want to show you some ideas that I have for improvising over this track, some different scales, different note choices, just some different ideas, the way I would play it. And again, I'm doing mostly everything kind of by ear and just by, plugging in some scales, that I know and that I feel that would work best. But I want to hear from you. Hopefully this will help you, just giving you some options and giving you some ideas of how to be a better improviser, and really just give you some ideas of how to develop your own style and just improvise over this track, but not only this one, but just any any track that you want to work out. Just gives you some ideas of scales and things like that. So I'll leave a link in the description for this track and some resources that'll help you, and hopefully, like I say, this will help you out. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's just go ahead and get into it. If you do have any questions, please put a Q in front of the question, and that way I'll be able to pick it out really easily, and I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. So let's go ahead and roll with it. First thing I want to do is just take a look at this track. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and play over it yet. For right now, let's just take a look at it, and let's talk about it just for a moment and see what we got. So let's go ahead and do that now. And there's our track right there. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of it, and I'll kind of walk you through some parts that I think are really cool. Now, this is a track by a channel called Quist Backing Jam Tracks. Anyway, this is a great channel for not only backing tracks, but he's a great blues player, and it's just a really good channel. I only stumbled on it maybe in the last few weeks or so, something like that, but he's got some really good stuff, so check it out. There'll be a link in the description, of course, for you to check it out. Now, this is showing the chord progression and the chords, and if you notice, it's A, D, E, and it's got that cool turnaround we just now heard. Now, that cool turnaround I'll talk about here in just a minute. And to me, that's kind of what makes it an Eric Clapton style blues track. Without that turnaround, it's pretty much just straight up blues. But I want to talk about it just for a moment because notice it's all major chords. So that's an A major. It does have that lick. Then it's got the E, the D major. Here's the turnaround. But notice it is all major chords. So what makes it really a cool blues song is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I could count it right, we'd be okay. Here we go. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's kind of what makes it a bluesy track as far as I'm concerned, because if you were playing just major chords, let's say an A, a D, and an E, then you're pretty much just playing an A major scale. So that's the first thing I want to talk to you about, is kind of an idea of there's a lot of this track that really is major. So it's going to go between major and minor. Obviously, we're going to bring in the A pentatonic blues scale. I'll show you a diagram here in just a moment, kind of break down these scales and stuff. The bottom line is these are all major chords. So that's really what's kind of cool to remember. It's got this lick. It's kind of cool. And it kind of goes from there. So let's go ahead and without me playing over anything yet, let's go ahead and just kind of walk through a little bit of the scales that I think are really kind of important here. Number one, we talked about the chords, so let's just go to guitar scales. And again, if we talk about A major, then this is what A major kind of looks like. And I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. I do have these resources available. I'm going to show you a free PDF resource that I have that you can download that's going to be in the description. That'll really help you, break some of this stuff down. But I'm just going to real quickly go through these scales. So think about an A major scale right there. Notice it's got your A, it's got your D, it's got your E. So for the most part, you could use an A major scale, but obviously this is a blues song. So let's compare this A major scale right here. And then we can also look at the A pentatonic major, which kind of takes, a few of the, a couple of the notes out. Really all it is the A pentatonic, the A major pentatonic be the same thing as the A major scale. It's just missing the 4 and the 7. So if we go back to the major right there, let's go ahead and play a little bit of that. Let's talk about it just for a moment. So I'm going to play the major scale right here, 7 notes. And then 7 notes going the next octave. And so that's it. Now, if I play just the major pentatonic scale, we've just got 5 of those notes. We've got the 1, the 2, the 3. We're skipping the 4. We're going to the 5. 6. We're skipping the 7 and going back to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to 1. It's really important because you can go back and forth between pentatonic and major, or really this is an Ionian mode scale pattern. So you could go back and forth between your mode scale patterns and your pentatonic scale patterns all day long. This track for sure you could do that. So we're going to talk about that more in detail here in just a moment. But now let's go ahead and slip back over and let's take a look at our blues scale. So now let's go to our A pentatonic blues, which is right here. And that should be something that you're very familiar with. So let's go ahead and kind of break that down. And so what we got there is just simple blues. So you start out with your A pentatonic, your A minor pentatonic scale, which is should be the first scale most everybody learns on guitar as far as lead guitar. And then you bring in your blues note, which is right here and right here. So it's, try that one more time. So what I want to show you, kind of in a nutshell, this blues pentatonic scale will work for the most part, especially in the A chord. When it goes to the D chord, it's a little different kind of a thing, which I'll show you here in a moment. And then when it goes to the E chord, there's another scale that you could bring in there, but it could be the A major scale, or it could be what we're going to show you here in a minute is the A Mixolydian mode scale pattern. So basically, this blues scale pattern, if you played that, what you'd want to do is add the major third. So the A minor pentatonic or the blues scale only has the minor third. So there's your third. Of course, there's your minor third right there. That would be your major third. So this would be minor. This would be major. Minor. Major. And notice that lick they're doing at the really the whole song basically has this lick in A. It goes. That's exactly starting with this minor third. That right there, that interval, that double stop, if you will. And all you're doing is hammering on to the major third. And here you're doing kind of a D sus, or A sus, I'm sorry, going to the D. So that's a real popular lick. So anyway, the point is we got to have that major third because it's a major chord. Same thing with the D major. Got to have that major third, which we're going to talk about that here in just a second. The E major, it's got this major third. And so we kind of got to either target those notes on those other chords, or we got to bring in some other scales and think about other scales. So let's go ahead and talk about another idea for when we go to the D chord. So we've talked about the A chord, and basically you're talking about either an A major or a major pentatonic. Let's talk about the D chord. Of course, on the A, we're talking about the A pentatonic blues as well. So let's go to the D chord, and let's think about where we would be at on, let's see if I can show you what I want to show you. That's kind of an idea, but let's just go ahead and go to the chord. This is a little bit easier to see. So if I went to a D major chord and went to that, then you can see very quickly kind of what you have to work with there. And you can see where that major third is right there. And there's a scale that kind of goes more along with this, in my opinion, that you could use. And it's going to be an A Dorian scale. It's an A Dorian mode scale pattern. However, let's see, let's break it down to right there. So that's a Dorian mode scale pattern in the key of A. Starting with A as your root note, but obviously we're going to be playing D as our root note. So this scale pattern, if we started with the D, would be a D mixolydian. So we'd go here to D, and we go here to D mixolydian, and now look, you see the exact same scale pattern, but D is your root note. And if you brought in the D right there where your your bottom E string, starting with the D right there, then that's kind of what that scale looks like. So we're going to talk about those scales, and when it goes to the E, we're going to kind of do the same thing for the most part. There's some different things we can do, but really going to the E, it's almost the same thing. It's almost like playing these scales, whether it be a D mixolydian or an E mixolydian on those parts. So when it goes to the D chord, when it goes to the E chord, and then when it comes back to the turnaround, we'll talk about kind of what we can do there. For the most part, that's going to be an A mixolydian. There again, this is all my interpretation. This is all my ideas. This is all what I'm hearing. There's hundreds of things you could do. You could do all kinds of different things. You could try different scales. You could try different approaches. You could just play a blues scale only and then just add a few extra notes. I've seen a lot of videos where they teach you, you start with the basic scale and all you're doing is just adding those target notes. Wherever those target notes are, you just want to hit those target notes. Yeah, you can do that all day long, but for me, it just works better to think of the scale that goes with those target notes. So again, this is my own interpretation, and this is kind of something that I do. So let's go ahead and just talk about that. But on the turnaround part at the end, it would be an A mixolydian, and again, we're back. Back there, and so there's your A mixolydian right there. So that's kind of just a quick breakdown. So let's go ahead and talk about these mixolydian scales real quick, and then we'll play the track, and I'll show you some different. I'll play the different scales and give you the kind of an idea of what one scale sounds over the other one. So we're going to be basically just doing some comparisons. So think about what I said about the Mixolydian scale. This is the A. The only difference in this scale and the major scale is it's got the minor 7. That's it. Here's a major. That's your major 7. That's your 1. So the Mixolydian has the minor 7. And I'll show you why that's really important here in a second. Or I'll show you actually what I'm playing when it goes to the turnaround, where it goes to the A, G, D, and then back to E. Why that scale works so well for that part. So the whole scale pattern, the whole mode scale pattern with A as your root note would be like this. Once again, the D Mixolydian would be up here. And the E right here. Now again, I'm going to play, when I get to the D, I'm going to play this A Dorian looking mode scale pattern, because the A Dorian would be like this. But now we're going to be using the D as our root note, so technically we're doing a D Mixolydian right here. We're going to do the same thing when it comes to the E, and then when it goes to the A, we're back to an A Mixolydian. Now you can take all that for what it's worth. Again, you could play the A pentatonic blues scale through this whole chord progression. As long as you hit the root notes every time, you got it. The target notes, the root notes, you got it. But if you want to hit those thirds, those major thirds we're talking about, that's when these other scales really do come into play. So I just want to make that point clear. Switching around scales is kind of crazy, but all you're really doing is finding the scales that are going to hit on those target notes. And again, if you hit just the root notes, absolutely, your A, D, and E is in all of your scales. Your major scale, your Mixolydian, your Dorian, so forth, so on. So it's real important to kind of understand that, I believe. So without further ado, let's do some jamming, and let's break down some jams to this real quick. And I'm going to, again, just kind of talk about it as I go along a little bit. So let's play some blues. Right there, we kind of went from a major to a minor lick, just like that. That's major, that's minor. There's your major third. All right, let's bring me into focus here, so you're not just hearing it. All right, so now we're going to break this down a little bit, and we're going to do more of a comparison. That was kind of all over the place. This time we're just going to stick with the pentatonic blues scale, and let's just see what this sounds like. The only thing we're going to do is add that major third for sure. So pentatonic blues, adding the major third, all in A. All right, now we're going to basically go through the same thing, and let's just hit this A Dorian scale when it goes to the D. Hear the difference? Back to the A. Same thing with the E. This is just straight A major. Back to the blues scale. A Dorian. All right, so the only thing we really haven't talked about now would be the Mixolydian scales that I was talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and back this track up again. Kind of kick it off from the top. And I just want to kind of focus on that Mixolydian scale when it comes to the E and then the walk down there at the end of the progression. So right here is your E. Let's play something a little higher right here. So actually that Mixolydian part really only works through just a little bit of that E chord. And of course it works on the very last turnaround, I believe. Here's a good example of it right there. All right, let's go ahead and kill this track, and that's going to conclude our playing over the backing track. There is a couple more things I'd like to share with you. I don't really see anybody joining the stream as far as I can tell. At least I don't see no comments. Just double check, make sure I'm not missing somebody or something. No, I don't see any comments. So if you're joining this for the replay, once again, this is just all about going through improvising different scales, different ideas for pentatonic scales, you know, the blues scales, mode scale patterns, things of that nature. So I want to go ahead and show you a PDF free document that I have available. And I'm not going to go into it in detail, but there is on my channel page right there. There's a video about it right here. And so this video is kind of the featured video. If you haven't subscribed, I guess if you've subscribed, then you'd have to find it, but it's this one here, this PDF free guide. So this is exactly it. Lead guitar, what you need to know, free PDF. There's a link in there. Now this is going to be you joining my email list, but I can tell you I'm not into spamming. I don't really have anything that I'm going to be sending out immediately to you saying join this or do this or, you know, try to sell you anything or anything like that. Eventually I will be sending out some stuff, but you don't have to worry. If I do send something out, it's going to be something really cool and really useful for you. So don't worry about all of that. Just use the reference guide. And I really do hope it helps you. This guide has helped me tremendously. I started out with basically this one document I'm going to show you. Here's the kind of the introduction and the summary of the document and some resources and stuff like that. But this is what I started out with, and I didn't really go through all this in this video, but in the video that I just showed you, it does break down kind of all of this stuff right here, but it's all about your major scale formula. I may be doing a live stream about this here soon, where I just kind of really break down the major scale, and everything starts with that major scale. So you can take the major scale, you can learn it just like the back of your hand where you really got it down, and then you can apply it to different keys. You can always know which chords are major, which chords are minor. You can always know which mode scale patterns goes with each degree of the scale. It's really, really helpful to know this stuff. And I really believe that, you know, this is some great stuff. And again, this is stuff that that I've used a ton in my teaching, and I kind of wanted a diagram that I could kind of show. So a lot of my videos, if you watch, you'll see this diagram right here. Now the rest of it is me pretty much just breaking down. This is the website I talked about that I showed you, and the rest of it's just breaking down just some patterns for you. So this is a C Ionian scale. If it was in the key of C major, then this would be the C Ionian or the C major scale. If we were in the key of C major, this would be the 2, which would be your D, and this would be the Dorian mode scale. So it's going from 2 to 2, D to D. So in the key of C major, E would be your 3, which is your Phrygian mode. We jump over to your 5, which is your G Mixolydian mode. Again, we're in the key of C major. And your 6 is your Aeolian mode scale pattern. And then this just kind of shows you really just the full version of every note on the fretboard that's in the key of C major. And you can break that down lots of different ways and stuff. I've got some other things here. This is kind of a breakdown for it, where red would be like the Ionian mode. You know, blue would be the Dorian mode, and kind of so forth, so on. If we were in the key of G, this is in the key of G right here. So G would be your Ionian, your 1. A would be your blue square there, which would be the A Dorian. Green is E Phrygian. Yellow is D Mixolydian, and E is your E Aeolian mode scale pattern. Once again, you're in the key of G major on that. And then I just kind of go through the major and minor pentatonic. There's only 5 pentatonic positions, but you can look at it from a major standpoint, or you look at it from a minor standpoint. If you want to say your major pentatonic scale and whatever key it is your one or your first position, then this would break down those positions for you. If you want to say your minor pentatonic scale, which is more what we were doing in this video, we were kind of doing both, to be honest with you. Anyway, minor pentatonic would be your position 1, and then you got your 5 positions. So that's kind of cool. And then this is the blues pentatonic. Again, you saw me playing in different places on the fretboard other than just from the 5th fret. So this will take you all over the guitar neck and pretty much play anything you want in the key of this. Of course, this is A blues pentatonic, but you can take these patterns and you can slide them, you know, and you can make this your G pentatonic, blues pentatonic, or C, or whatever you want. So this is really good to know. Goes through a few other things. This is your cage positions, which I won't really get into, but I've got some videos about that for you. And this is just your cage positions, just kind of breaks down what the positions look like. You may already know your cage positions and be very, very good at all of those positions, maybe not, but this is really helpful for that. So this is the scales app that I use on my phone and my iPad, and it's really good at breaking down scales and modes, and I do use it a lot. I use it personally, and I use it for a lot of my videos. So this is the iOS version, like say iPhone, iPad. This would be the Android version of that app. I've got a chords app that's really cool, and I've only got an iOS version of it. I got it on my iPhone and my iPad. So I don't know that there's an Android version of this exact app, but I know it's a helpful app. And even if it's not this one, an app like this is really helpful because it can just be a great resource. You may know, your basic A chord, but maybe you may be trying to figure out some other variations of what chords are in the A major scale, so this would help you, kind of figure some stuff like that out. Not only that, if you're dealing with all kinds of crazy chords, it's going to help you show them in different places on the guitar neck, which is always helpful. So that's a breakdown of this free PDF. I hope you'll download that and use it. I hope it really will help you. My whole point of doing this is just to hopefully, help somebody just get a little bit better, not only playing solos and improvising, but being able to feel stuff and be able to hear stuff, be able to pick up stuff quickly, like if you're trying to learn a cover solo or whatever. But it's also about using your ear and really being able to nail down, hitting those chord tones of those. Excuse me one second. Let me get myself back on the screen here as we wrap up. Yeah, it's all about being able to hit those chord tones, using your ear to just be able to learn solos quicker, be able to be a better improviser, and just things of that nature. So I hope all this stuff is really helpful for you. I really do. And, I'll be doing some more live streams, and we'll talk about some different aspects of all of this. But check out my channel, subscribe, like my videos. Please like this stream, especially if you got this far. Like it, and just let me know in the comments, or any questions as far as anything I can do to help you, any content that I could create that might help you, in your guitar journey. So there you go. I appreciate you hanging out with me if you did, and if you're on the replay, thank you for getting this far. And we're going to put an end to the stream here. And once again, I really appreciate you guys, and keep rocking. And I hope to see you again very soon.